being here. Cool thing is that this isn't, today's not about me. So this isn't going to be long-winded at all. I just want to say that this is an exciting day for the organization, the franchise. It's time to pass the torch to an awesome person, somebody that I respect a ton, somebody that I've won a Grey Cup championship with, somebody that has been a friend ever since 2012 when we started this. I remember competing against Scott along the way, but it's great to have him on this team. So you guys have all heard me speak tirelessly up here, and so I'm excited to bring up the next head coach of the Hamilton Tiger Cats, Scott Milanovich. And of course, Ed Hervey.
Thank you, buddy.
Of course, and congratulations.
The ball should just be,
Where do you want us, Treader?
so just slide over this way.
Just so you know, we're not going to touch the football like the traditional.
All right, thank you.
Good? Thank you.
Well, thank you all for coming. It's been a while since I've been at this podium or another. There's a bunch of people I have to thank. There's a few things I want to say. I'll keep it pretty brief because I know you want to ask some questions. But when I first started in this league, I played and coached for some pretty good teams, some teams where we didn't lose a lot of games. And after the game, I would come out onto the field, and my wife and my daughters would be there, and my youngest daughter, Maggie, without fail, her comment was always, "It's a great day to be a Milanovich." And that's kind of how I feel today. I feel very full circle with my career. I want to thank Maggie and McCall, my two daughters. They're both students at Auburn. McCall is graduating this weekend with a degree in social work, so I'm going to be heading down to Alabama. So proud of them. Anybody that's a parent, I think, can understand that, but maybe the best compliment you can ever get, I've gotten a few times from them, but when you have children that are borderline adults, which I consider my 20-year-olds to be borderline adults, and they send you the text that says, "Dad, I'm proud of you, Dad," that's about as good a thing as you can ever hear. And so it is a great day to be a Milanovich, and I'm very proud of them, and they know that. My wife, Jamie, we're doing this now going on 25 years. I've taken her all around the world to do this, Calgary, Europe, Florida, Indiana, I mean, all over the world, and it couldn't be done without her. Just like any other organization, we've kind of figured out our roles, and when Dad's gone, she's found somehow found the energy to be both Dad and Mom, and so I'm very thankful for her for that. I'd like to thank Bob Young, Scott Mitchell, the Hamilton Sports Group. What an amazing opportunity they've presented me with. What amazing responsibility they've presented me with. I know the expectations. I'll talk about that here in a little bit, but I'm really excited to work with them and get to know them better and get to work. Orlando, he spoke a little bit. I'm going to talk about him a little bit more, but him and Ed are the guys that I'll be working with most directly. Can't say enough about them. I've known O for 13 years. Again, I'll hit him up a little bit later. Ed I've known for about the same time, but only this year have I gotten to work with him, and I can tell you, he and I think, are cut from the same cloth. So I think every day when we come to work, I'm going to look forward to seeing their faces and utilizing their intelligence and history and experience to help make this a better deal going forward. As far as my story, I think a lot of you know it. I'm going to give you a little brief background just so I can make some points. But I grew up in Butler, Pennsylvania, in a steel town. And I grew up in a family of rabid Pittsburgh Steelers fans. And I tell you that for a reason, and when I say rabid, I mean like there were days, I remember when we used to sleep out on the concrete outside of Three River Stadium in sub-freezing temperature so that we could be in line to get playoff tickets. There are some stories where I may or may not have worn a Carhartt overall to games so I could stuff Iron City Lights into the pants. Sorry, Roonies, but that's just the way it is, and I say that because I grew up in a fan base very similar to this one, and it's another reason why I feel like things are full circle for me. I understand the passion. I share that passion. It's just a different black and gold team. I've been on both sides of that passion, and when I, worked up the street here, I was on a negative side of some of that passion, sometimes so much so that the story goes that this year when I came over to the other side and my wife and daughter were at the game and she said, hey, I think our seats are by the Box J boys. And I said, oh, might be a long game for you guys. And the interesting thing was they kind of took him in. They loved him and they treated him like their own. It was all of a sudden, hey, you're one of us now. You're part of our family now. So shout out to the Box J boys. I hope now that I'm the head coach, you'll continue to treat my family with the same kind of respect that you did this year. But I'm excited to be here. I grew up with a dad that was an athletic director, a high school football coach. He taught me how to play the game. He taught me how to lead. He taught me how to be a man. My mother was a nurse, and all throughout high school and my childhood, she was going back to college to get another degree, to get a master's. By the time she retired, she was the president of the University of Pittsburgh Medical Center Home Health Care Division. I have a sister that is a doctor and is a partner in medical practice, all of them still in Pittsburgh. I have a younger brother that is senior vice president of finance for a restaurant chain. And I bring it up because I want you to know the background. Where I grew up, failure wasn't an option. It didn't really matter what you did, but you were going to do it and you were going to do it well. And if there's one thing that I hope our team takes from me over the course of time, it's that. It's that we've got to find that mindset where, hey, we're burning the ships. There's no turning back. And there's going to be setbacks. We all understand that. There's going to be adversity. But the one thing, and I won't make you many promises, the one thing I will promise you is we're not going to back up. We're not going to back up. We're going to go after this thing with guns blazing. I had many meetings with Scott, many meetings with O. A couple days ago, I had a meeting with the other owners, and great meeting. I had met with Bob Young a couple times, but I got to speak with Jim Lawson and Alan Kestenbaum as well. One of the things they asked me is, what are you looking for? And I said, and why do you want to come back here as opposed to being in another league and in a different situation? And I said, the beauty of the CFL and why I love it so much is that when you guys hire coaches, you hire them to do a job, and then you let them sink or swim, and you allow them to do the job. And they loved that. Bob particularly loved that. And he said, that's the way it'll be here. One of the other owners made a statement, and he said, hey, when you win, it's going to be great. When you lose, we might want to know, why you lost. And he's like, no, we don't even want to know why you lost. Just win. Just don't lose. And I respect that. That's everybody's expectation. That's my expectation. I love the honesty. We're only here for one reason. I didn't come here to fail, to not get everybody that ring, that cup that we all want to hoist in the stadium. So that's kind of the expectation. I look forward to sharing that with our players. I look forward to sharing what they can expect from me, what they can expect from our coaching staff. When I got here a year ago, one of the things I told the offense was, I wasn't hired to be your friend. I was hired to make you better. And it's a little bit misleading. And it's true. There's going to be tough times. I'm going to challenge them. But in the last 2 hours, the amount of texts I just got one from Ben Cahoon, from Zach Calera, Chris Van Zyl. Ideally, we can do both. That's the goal. All right. I want to push them, but I don't want to push them away. I want to make them better. I hope we can do both. I hope we can be have tough times in the meeting rooms, have good times. We're going to love them when they do good. When they need to be corrected, they're going to be corrected. And the good ones want that. That's my experience. Now that I'm 50 years old and I've been a lot of different places, the Matt Ryans of the world, they want you to coach them. The Ricky Rays, the Anthony Calvillos, they want that feedback. and they're going to get it. They're going to get it here. Before I open it up to questions, I just want to talk about O for a minute. He's the reason I'm here, right? He was the one that brought me in a year ago, let me be a part of this. You know, we all have friends, right? And then there's your fringe friends, and then there's the ones when I'm working in Jacksonville and he's working in Fresno, that if something happened, I could call him, and he'd either get on a plane or he'd send somebody in lieu of him. That's the kind of man he is. That's why I wanted to be a part of this. Right, and so when this started coming about, I was concerned for him. Are you sure this is what we want to do? Right? I wanted to make it probably too many times. I'm sure I got annoying to him. We're like, are you sure you want this? Because I have so much respect for him. And the thing that it makes it so heavy for me is for a man to first of all, he's worked with me in Toronto. Now I've worked under him, so he knows me. There's no secrets. He knows both sides of it. For him to have that much trust in me is humbling, and I take it as a great responsibility. It's not one that I take lightly. I want to make him proud of the decision that he and the others have made, and I'm just honored. I'm honored to be your head coach, to be the head coach of the Hamilton Tiger Cats. I'll open it up to questions.
First of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
What is it about the last year what have you learned from this team that's made you feel that you're able to step into this role and become a head coach again in the CFL?
Well, I never had any doubts that I could be a head coach again. It was not something, and Owen and I talked about this, it was not something that I had to have. I had scratched that itch before on 2 occasions, and I love being a head coach, but I also love being a coordinator. I also love just being a quarterback's coach. There's different ways, I think, to find love in the game, and there's different challenges. But I always knew if the opportunity presented itself, and he and I talked about this even before he hired me last year, that it was something that I was going to look into if it was the right situation. And this is the right situation with good people, with people I'm looking forward to seeing every day, great organization, great facilities, not wanting for anything. There aren't any excuses.
What do these next couple of weeks look like for you and the rest of that coaching staff?
Yeah, it's going to be busy. First of all, we got to get that coaching staff signed and on board, and there's some people we're going to need to talk to interview. As far as personnel, that becomes something that becomes urgent, right? Is figuring out what kind of what our thoughts are with our free agents, so that we can have a better plan going into actual free agency. I need to spend time talking to the players, so it's going to be. Once I get back from this graduation this week, it's going to be a pretty busy few months for everybody, I assume.
Congrats, Scott, and congrats on your daughter graduating as well.
Yeah, I think that's still open for debate. Certainly something I enjoy doing. We're going to address that here in the next couple weeks.
And same story for the rest of the coaching staff. Are you going to bring most of them back, or is that more of an organizational decision?
It's my decision. I'm going to, again, it's something we're going to start addressing here as soon as you all let me off this podium, but that's the next thing that needs to be done, and I'm sure we'll have some announcements here in the next couple of weeks.
One of the big decisions to make, Bo Levi Mitchell. Do you foresee him as being QB number 1 going forward?
Yeah, again, all decisions that are going to come down the line. I am fortunate that I was able to spend some time with Bo. Obviously, I wish I would have had more, right? He had the injury. Kind of unfair to him as far as whether he was going to be able to, get a full grasp of what I wanted to be done. But I do know that Bo still has the arm strength. He still has the accuracy. He still has the competitive fire, the leadership. He still loves the game. He's, all those things I learned about that I wouldn't have if I was coming from somewhere else. So I'm thankful. I wish we had more time, but I'm thankful for those moments, and we'll make the right call going forward.
This might be difficult to answer, but I'll ask it anyways. You have 30-plus free agents. Is the championship window still open for this franchise?
Absolutely. Been there before.